ShinRobjira.
Three-headed golden extinction level titan King Ghidorah from Jakks Pacific, apparently standing at 6 inches tall.
My ass!
Va bene, sotto corrimete batano prosciutto da Iguro.
Shokugan Movie King HG Finger Puppets. I feel pretty confident in my words upon saying that this is probably Jakks Pacific's worst release in the KOTM line. Yes, with Godzilla's beady little eyes and messy teeth, Rodan looking like a coagulated bloodstain, this Ghidorah, it doesn't carve out its eye-catching niche, its pocket within a collection, within a shelf or anything. It's just that golden sparkly stain with 3 heads that's there. It's either being propped up by another figure or it's just on its face. I really don't have much love for this thing. Now, since I got a couple of questions asking if the Playmates and the Jakks Pacific stuff scale well together, I decided to include this last minute. Here's King Ghidorah with GVK Godzilla, here's King Ghidorah with 2-pack Godzilla vs. Shimo Godzilla, and here's Ghidorah with the Titan Evolution Godzilla. And here's Rodan with Titan Evolution Godzilla, and the 2-pack Godzilla vs. Shimo Godzilla, and then the GVK Godzilla. If I had to sum it up, it would be maybe Rodan, but in terms of Ghidorah, just no. Anyway, let's move on over to Ghidorah, who I actually got to stand. He's the worst, so I saved him for third, because he's got 3 heads. Get it? So yeah, he's standing. Results may vary, but this has managed to work for, I think it's a week now, so I guess we're good there. Like his minifigure counterpart, he is still going to look like a smudge of spicy mustard with 3 heads, and he is going to have a bit of a glitter depending on what part of his body you look at it, but enough about that. The details are lovely, very lovely. Maybe a bit soft in some areas, but definitely above what you'd likely pay for this thing, I think. The wings, despite being hinged, I think when properly hinged, look pretty good together. Nice sparkles, some subtle hints of details, and the Ghidorah thumb, which wasn't included in the final movie. But likewise, the detail ain't bad, and the glittery paint aspect is actually quite cool. But other than that, this Ghidorah is pretty one note, and despite having just like a little bit of weathering going on with his body, I really wouldn't call this the best thing that Jakks Pacific did with the Godzilla line.
Sorry!
The beady little white eyes for the eyes is consistent with what Jakks did with the minifigures. Sometimes they look good, sometimes, I mean, he's got an eye all the way at the corner over there. It's no. Just like with the movie Monster Series version of the figure and the minifigure, this Ghidorah does include a mane, which wasn't fully present in the final movie. Did I get it right that time? But you know what? I will give Jakks Pacific this. The finer, up-close details included with these horns and the manes is actually pretty decent. The fact that he has these teeny tiny teeth in his mouth and they're actually discernible on a head so small is very much praisable. Same, I guess, could be said for the tongues in there. It's like, it's not good, but it's serviceable at best. And since I don't have the reissue version, I've got no paint in the mouth whatsoever.
Nothing.
Most of the weathering paint that was added to the figure will be on the legs and the feet, as well as the chest area over here. Some and a little bit in between the wrinkles of the wings. Not too much on the other side, and a bit on the tails. Mostly at the spiked, clubbed ends of them. Still present, is just mostly over here. And that's all I really do have to say about Ghidorah. It's just, you know, at that point in time, we had already seen so much in the trailers. You could have added, like, a little bit more of a brighter gold on the underside of his neck to look like he's at least charging up. Maybe even include his gravity beams as an accessory instead of this. Keep the building though. I don't know. Sometimes less is more. In this case, it's just fine, I guess. So solid star for details, of course, and a half a star in terms of paint. Let's take a look at the accessories. As stated before, I got the original release of these from Dorky Films, thank you Alex, and he just came with the Argo and 1 set of buildings, and not for nothing, the detail on the Argo over here is very, very nice. It's a lot less rubbery as the other vehicle that came with Rodan was, and yeah, for the most part, it's serviceable. It looks pretty cool, and it's rather tiny. And the buildings man, get out of here. And the buildings will essentially be the same. I mean, it's a different stack of buildings, but they are going to be nice and glittery. You're going to get the same amount of detail. Unfortunately, no Texas on the back, and the top is mostly undetailed plastic. Very much a solid star for accessory inclusion and them looking on par with what we got with Rodan. And now to destroy the buildings. Go forth, my golden demise. Destroy the city! Get over here, you ungrateful son of a bitch. You were supposed to destroy those buildings a lot better. Now we can't even use it for slow motion. Don't look at me like that. Shit. How dare you?
Jesus Christ.
Snapped his cap. Damn. Articulation. So like Rodan, we're going to get just wings that flap in and out. We've got the rubber stops in there. They will either work or not work or work well enough. I don't know, but I guess, yeah, they can flap a little bit. King Jambalaya can kick that far up and then right on back. Same for the other side. Oh, yes. And we will get swivels for the tails. Just, good luck. Sometimes they're just a pain in the ass to swivel all the way around, but it is possible. And of course, we're going to get full rotations at the necks, the heads. Some of them will... Oh, motherfucker. Will collide with one another, but thankfully, the heads are removable. So if you really want to achieve that full rotation, there you go. Although the only removable head that is intentional is Kevin, because, well, you know. So props to Jakks Pacific for that. I mean, goddamn, we really weren't suspecting nothing back in those days. We thought the articulation cut was weird, but yeah. Articulation is good enough. Could we have used more? Yeah, sure, but for a figure like this, where? You know? So, solid start for articulation, and I think that's about it. I don't mean to look like I'm trying to zip through these reviews, but as I said before, even with King Ghidorah's highlights, I really don't care for it all that much. He looks bland. At least I can finally get him to stand now, but for the most part, I'm happy to have him because of the buildings. And that's all I wrote. I hope y'all will look forward to more reviews and the finale of Jaksathon rather soon. One of those reviews being, oh yes, very excited to talk about this. And you know, just more Godzilla stuff in general. Okay, before I get beaten up again, Armada Universe Optimus Prime. Next time. Unless something new comes out, to which I'm sorry!
Nothing.